Hey, hey, you know who it is. It is Dr. Tamu, extraordinaire, founder of Innovative Education and Training and Coaching by Tamu. So I come here to talk about the world boss. Yeah, I don't mean Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, though he says he's the world boss too. I'm here to talk about Vybz Kartel and 5 lessons that you can learn from Vybz Kartel to apply in your business. So now I have been obsessed with Vybz Kartel since the release. One, I didn't know the backstory, so I was looking up the backstory. I'm not really a dance hall fan, getting old, but I am obsessed with Vybz Kartel and his mogul mindset and mogul moves. So I've been binge watching every video interview that I could find, both pre incarceration and post release, right? Post incarceration. So let's start with lesson one. So if you want to grow your business and have an empire, here's the first lesson. Develop your own IP, your own intellectual property. A lot of y'all are working in businesses and you are serving others, but you actually own nothing that is intellectual property. You don't have any designs, so no processes, no products of your own, etc. Vibes Cartel pre incarceration had a whole slew of products, right? He was really making his mark and becoming a mogul, right? And flipping that money that he got from music into an empire. And so, what were some of the IP assets that he had? Well, he owned the Addy sneakers. I watched an interview where he had the Addy sneakers on his feet, the prototype. Yeah. So, Addy, um, his name is Adidja Palmer. Of course, you know the popular song with cake soap. He had his own brand of cake soap or bleaching product, and he also had the Straight Vibes alcohol. And in that interview, he talked about cutting out the middleman and that he had set up his own factory to distill the rum so that he could keep more of the profits. Now, post incarceration, he's revamped the look of the Straight Vibes rum. It's less, before it had a luxury feel, and now, it's clean, it's clear. The branding is, like just very, it's like a clean brand, and the liquor for the most part that I've seen, it's also clear. And the Straight Vibes rum, that's going to get a lot of traction. It was featured, of course, at the Freedom concert, and I'm quite sure that the sponsorship and the sale of that will continue to grow exponentially as he continues to tour. All right. So the question is, what are your IP assets, your intellectual property, right? Lesson two, keep the lure, keep the image, even when you are absent from, popular culture. Now, you know that in today's world, it kind of feels like if it's not on social media, it didn't happen. All right. But real wealthy people, they have to hunker down and do some work, right? And so maybe your image or your brand or your perception is being kept up by your team. Or maybe I have a saying, I like to say, don't be common like salt, right? You can't be everywhere, otherwise you get common like salt. But in some businesses, visibility is key. But the thing is, even when you are away, locked away, like Adidja Palmer, not in jail, right? But locked away in other pursuits, locked away in strategizing, how do you keep this kind of excitement around your brand and your image? When you appear, are people excited? And what is the strategy around that? So, Vibes Cartel, even when he was locked up behind bars, he was releasing music. And actually, one of the albums that he released while in jail, I feel like it was in 2016, he's now been nominated for a Grammy for that. Okay. The next lesson, so lesson number three, is maximize your opportunity, right? So sometimes we overthink things and opportunities are coming our way. Now, I'm not saying that you should not evaluate your opportunities, but sometimes we turn down opportunities because we don't think we're ready, etc., and all sorts of reasons why we might turn down opportunities. But when things are coming your way, then you need to double down. So Cattell, he out of prison and he is maximizing every opportunity. He had his own show. He's gonna be touring. As soon as he came out, he was in St. Vincent. He's gonna be in Trinidad, I think, for Carnival, etc. Right? So maximize your opportunity and really expand your global footprint. Lesson number 4 from Vybz Kartel: create your own table first, then eat off other people's table, and make that first seating iconic. And a great example of that was the Freedom concert. Now, there are a lot of critics. People are saying it wasn't great. They didn't have live music, all sorts of things. But the visibility garnered from that event, which was put on by Cartel himself, yes, the offers were coming, but he made this grand re entry into entertainment, 13 years later, etc. And so he's created such an iconic moment that it's going to spark interest despite the critique. So sometimes we are waiting on other people to book us, to do all sorts of things, buy our services, all sorts of things, you know but create your own table. If you're a trainer and you're trying for people to book you with their organization, have trainings, right? And onboard people onto those, etc. So, what number am I at? Oh, this is the fifth one. The fifth one is really important. Remember, I had posted a story on Instagram. It's in my her highlights now. And it said, focus on the main quest. Side quests are a trap. And the fifth lesson I have from Cartel is have relentless focus. When you listen to his interviews, you see that he has relentless focus on being a mogul. And not just being a mogul, he has relentless focus on domination. And so the question that you have to ask is, how are you going to dominate your industry? How are you going to dominate your market? How are you going to dominate your island? How are you going to dominate? Learn from Cartel, man.